Yep.
Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Moviecast, episode 372, right? I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gast, joined by Mike Sinidi.
What's up?
Corey Feinside.
It's happening!
And Tony Korkanakis.
Yo!
What's up, guys? Ooh, my knuckle just cracked on my finger. Anyways, it doesn't crack anymore because it's got that weird stuff going on with it. It's a good thing.
That's what you meant by on your finger. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, where else you got knuckles?
Yeah, anyway, so welcome, listeners and viewers, to episode 372. We're starting off strong. Yeah.
Huh?
Well, not really strong. The box office is...
Yeah, I wouldn't call that strong at all.
okay. Coco at 26 million, number one. JL
Is it okay?
at... huh?
Is it okay?
Yeah, it's okay, actually.
For you, it's okay?
Well, the box office is way down this year. It's not going to make the numbers back.
Way down.
Yeah, it's way down.
2%? It's going to be 2%?
Well, that's after projections. Like, Star Wars has to make that money back.
So,
Yet
what,
again.
it's 4% now? That's way down?
Well, it's at 9.4 right now, billion, and last year did 11.6 total. It needs to make up $2 billion in 3 weeks.
Yeah, and it's projected to make up most of it to get to 2 to 4% down. So, way down or just mild fluctuation year by year.
No, because usually
No, we're not getting into this because Mike doesn't believe in numbers, so let's just move on. I'm
Believe
tired of
in
having
numbers.
Stupid arguments.
No. It's right there. 2%. That's a big deal.
No,
That's
I mean,
the
2%'s a lot of money, Mike. It's a lot of money.
This is why we're not talking about it. Let's just move on because, again, people don't like numbers, so let's just move on.
All right. People don't like numbers? I like numbers.
Well, you know, the guy that likes to say downward trending all the time doesn't want to talk about numbers.
I just did. 2%. That's your number. If you want to make a big deal about 2%, that's fine.
I mean...
So it's becoming a big deal. Let's keep going.
It is a big deal. Every freaking website is talking about it.
I mean, month to month, we've talked about how the box office has underperformed. That's all. I mean, it's month to month. It's down almost every single month.
And we talked about how in the summer that was true, but that's it.
No, we've been talking about it way before summer.
I know you guys were talking about it, and you were wrong. We checked that out on the same site that launched that fake news. We saw it.
What are you talking about?
January was up. March was up.
Oh,
2 months.
Earlier in
we're not saying every
several
month.
months were. And then the summer
like October was down. I think September was down.
I don't think October was down.
I'm fairly certain it was. If we can get, I don't know if we can, but
beside the point.
Yeah, so it's at 9.72 billion has been earned, which is down 4.3% from last year's numbers.
Let's see. Hold on a second. October 2017. Box office is the lowest in 10 years. I don't know how to read words. I don't know how to interpret that, but I'm pretty sure that's bad.
Yeah, well, read the fine print. See what that actually means.
I don't need to read the fine print.
Box office for what? For when? For
Ticket sales at the U.S. box office in October 2017 reached the lowest total for the month in a decade.
So it's just
what fine print is there, Mike?
Is that one?
Mike, no, I was just that's what I was mentioning as a stat, and you were contesting.
We're talking about 2% for the whole year.
Yeah, but
this
I wasn't
whole argument has been this whole year has been down.
At that point, I was talking about October that you were contesting, and Tony just...
I don't remember exactly which one is which. I know that you
why he brought it up.
Here and there.
Listen, I'm not trying to get into a huge argument about this. I'm not. I'm just saying that's the only reason why Tony just brought that up is because we were actually just talking about that.
All right.
But I'm not saying 2%. It doesn't sound like a lot. It doesn't, but it is a lot of money.
I know, but I think 2 years. We go back like 3 years. You gained and lost similar amounts. So.
Yeah, but you are inflation-wise should by itself should go up.
In 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, ticket prices go up yearly. They do. Did you? We didn't pay $19.44 for a movie ticket that we just paid for this year.
I don't know. I think we were around the same.
We were 18 something. We were at 18 something. They went up about 50 to 60 cents.
There's also less 3D showings now too.
It's still IMAX and it's the reserved seating stuff. I mean, they're getting you with other things now.
But there's less seats also.
Sure, that's true. So you have less sales. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, all right. Let's go to the box office and talk about that more. So Coco, Justice League, Wonder, Thor, and Daddy's Home 2 are your top 5. 26.1 million for Coco, 16.6 for Justice League. We mentioned the down in the box office. We will have to talk about these numbers real quick because we've talked about it all week on Discord, and I know we don't. I know that we're probably talked about the numbers out. We're talked out about them, but nobody's heard it on the podcast if they're not on Discord. So, got to talk about it again. Justice League is not going to beat Man of Steel worldwide. It's not going to. That's pretty much set in stone right now. It is set in stone from what I just read. So, what are we? Where are we putting this movie? Are we all agreeing this is a flop?
No, yeah, it's a flop.
For what it was expected, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not going to make its money back.
It's a disaster.
To lose the studio money.
I'm not just saying this is not a flop. This is a disaster.
I'm not trying to use a terrible, controversial term here, Tony. I'm just telling
fine.
you.
It's a shame because it is the best DC movie in the universe too.
I mean, no, in the best movie in the universe?
Wouldn't say that.
No, I mean, there's Wonder Woman. I still like Wonder Woman better.
I know, I said that.
I think you can argue either way, for depending on what you're looking for in a movie.
But, I mean, this is just because, I think, because of what happened with Batman vs. Superman, I think this is what this is. I think that's what happened. So
Partially, yes. It's also Ben Affleck dragging everything down a little bit with his bad reputation right beforehand. It's Thor taking a lot from them a few weeks beforehand. It's Wonder being a surprise hit. It's Coco being a hit. And Star Wars looming. And just general
Star Wars looming is not keeping people out of the theater.
No, I know, but it's going to kill it completely. Like, you're not going to get any legs with this movie.
And there are people who, like you guys say, who go to like one movie a month or whatever. They're going to go to maybe that instead.
You know, I was actually shocked that Murder on the Orient Express wasn't a little bit higher. That theater, I went and saw that this weekend.
That flopped.
That theater was full when I was there.
They did not promote that as well as they should have.
Yeah.
Considering how many like big names were in it, yeah.
Dude, I mean, every time there was a new face on the screen, I'm like, Jesus Christ, they're in this movie? And I'll talk about it later when we've been up to, but I mean, we'll get into that a little later. I got some movies to discuss.
No, but I'm disappointed in Justice League's performance. It's not surprising. I mean,
it's clearly a better movie, and Tony, you can't argue with that. It's clearly a better movie than Batman vs. Superman.
And Suicide Squad, for sure.
You don't think it's clearly better movie than BVS?
No, not
I think it's more fun either way.
I would say, sure, it's more fun, but again, like I said last week, like there are certain elements in BVS which were good. In this, I can't say anything was good in this movie.
Why?
None of it was good.
What about that scene that we all said was
Everybody's
good?
Everybody's got their own opinion.
That was fine. It was fine. But, I mean, okay, are we really expecting them, like, let's take the criticism from last year. Like, oh, when the Avengers were fighting each other, like, nothing happened. More stuff happened in Civil War to the Avengers fighting each other than freaking Superman going rogue on the rest of the Justice League. I mean, he was angry for all of 3 minutes. Like, oh,
I mean,
it's really the story was about bringing everyone together. Though that's the plot. That's what the fighting would lead to. It wasn't about this half-assed, artificial fight. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you expect to happen here. This Justice League, they're getting together in it.
Yeah, I mean, I
expect a good movie. I don't know.
I thought it was
a good movie. It wasn't a great movie though.
I mean, this is a matter of opinion. I thought it was a good movie. I agree with you, Mike. It's not a great movie, but it's a good movie. And I think if this was the movie they came out with, I think this would have been a good starting point. Except you have BVS and you have Suicide Squad and you have
How could you start at Justice League? I don't understand that.
I would have rather have this movie been the starting point than the other ones. I mean, if you're gonna rush everything anyway, why not just do this instead?
To BVS, so there was some things
that I just don't understand how you can do that. Like, unless you're starting off that.
No, I'm not saying that you have to follow the Marvel platform specifically, but I'm saying since they didn't, why not just start with the Justice League and hey, we're gonna put our characters together and then we'll split them off later. But they didn't do that. They half-assed it and it made it much worse of a situation because they didn't go one way or the other. They just were like, well, we'll try this, we'll do this, but they misstepped and they didn't make it coherent.
The thing about this is you see BVS and you're like, oh, this should have been, there's a lot cut. This should have been another half hour longer. And you think, oh my God, that's a lot. After seeing BVS, you're like, oh, I want to see what we're missing, but a 3 hour plus movie of this, that's a lot. With Justice League, you're like, oh, well, you definitely could have used like another half hour or 45 minutes. And you're like, yeah, I would have wanted that. For sure. No, because it just ends real quick, this movie, and you're like, there needed to be more. So I don't know.
Like I said, like I think you can. I mean, I don't see why you couldn't start off big with the Justice League. It just the other movies and the reputation of what came before is what hurt it. I mean, that's what my opinion.
Its reputation preceded it. Mm-hmm. So, all right, let's move on then.
Hold on. Just to, because we're talking about statistics. So, Justice League has been in release for 18 days, and to date domestically has only grossed $198.5 million. Avengers opening weekend domestic, Avengers 1 was $207.5 million. So.
And Jurassic World even made more in its opening weekend. Obviously,
we were also just talking about the fact that Infinity Wars,
right? I know it did. I'm just saying, just like a known, like just people love dinosaurs. So,
well, I mean, that's a sequel from 20 years on.
Right,
it's a known property. Justice League's a known property.
But is it? Is this version
arguing that Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman are not known properties? Is that what you're saying now? Well, I swear to God, 3 years ago we had this argument where it was completely opposite.
This is a relatively new universe they just made with BVS. It's not Jurassic Park.
They made this universe actually with Man of Steel in 2011.
They retconned that into a new universe.
No, that was BVS. Already being made.
I don't know if that was the plan.
That was
at that time.
That was the plan. No, the plan was originally the plan.
Green Lantern.
Mike,
Green Lantern.
That's where I was going
to get
to.
The
yeah, that was supposed to be the original. Yes. And that was a shit show, so they dropped it.
They definitely retconned that out. That's like the Wolverine Origins movie.
But, anyways, I forget what I was going to say. I don't even know where it's going.
I'm just going to say, burn it down.
Burn the whole thing. Yeah.
Yep. I know you guys like it. Ask for more. Ask for better.
I would look at this as an investment for future properties. Because
I'm okay with them just starting over with everybody brand new, get rid of everyone. I don't care, because if Ben Affleck's not part of it, it doesn't matter to me.
I mean, keep it. Come on, like in every interview these days, like he doesn't look happy to be talking about.
No, that's what I'm saying. He's done. So why? Like, if he's done, then I don't. That's the only reason I'd want this universe to stay alive, is because I want to see him as Batman.
Why?
It's not going to be Batman.
There's other stuff going on there, too.
He's my favorite part of this universe.
It's a good part of it, but there's other things going on. Now we finally have Superman back to where it should be.
It's all new. It's still new enough where it doesn't
matter. It is new, but you have Wonder Woman who's strong, who's always going to be strong.
She's fine.
You've got a good origin for Cyborg, at least. You have comic relief Flash, which is fine in an ensemble.
I agree with you, Mike. It's all fine, but it's only saying you can do better. And if
you tear this down, you get nothing for 4 years at all. You get nothing. We get nothing, and everything that we invested here, everything that they built, is gone.
It sounds.
And that's why I don't want to tear it down.
Like a video game that we were just talking about.
Just saying, I'm okay with it since Ben Affleck's probably done as Batman, and we're probably not going to see him in a Batman movie.
It's not like we're not going to get properties. I guarantee you they're just going to move forward with solo movies, which they've already said that they're going to be doing.
Yeah, we're getting Shazam and Aquaman.
They're not going to do the Justice League 2. It's not going to happen. I really don't think it's happening.
Justice League 2 is going to have to. If they're going to continue to do solo movies, they're going to make an ensemble thing too at some point later. There's no reason for them to do that.
Have another Justice League.
There's absolutely no reason that they would continue their solo movies if they don't plan on bringing them together at one point again.
I'm not saying they're not going to have another Justice League film, but they won't have a sequel to this.
If it has like half of the same characters, does it count as a sequel?
If Darkseid's in it, does it count as a sequel?
I don't know, because they could still nail him for the villain later on, just not tied to this universe, completely rebooted.
We're never getting a sequel with the same exact Justice League members, the actors.
No, absolutely not. Ben Affleck's not going to be him in it. But I think Gal Gadot and Aquaman and The Flash will be.
I think everyone else, I would expect that.
I think it's going to be just Ben Affleck's really the only one. Maybe Superman.
Henry's getting old.
He's younger than everyone else.
He's got one more film in his contract. So.
And it's not Man of Steel 2, that's for sure.
So, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
The cool thing about this, and I guess it's cool, Infinity War has a chance to beat this in its opening weekend for its entire haul domestic. It has a chance now.
Mm-hmm.
So Infinity War's opening weekend.
Star Wars might have a chance to do the same thing.
I think it will. But Infinity War might be able to beat out.
Infinity War is going to be I think is going to be the biggest Marvel Cinematic movie opening.
I think it will. I think Star Wars has to worry about its record because I think Infinity War could take that on.
I don't know about the record. Who cares about the record? I'm just saying, MCU. This movie is a monumental event that has been 10 years in the making. It's just there's no way.
They need to keep playing on that nostalgia. They need to keep playing on that with their marketing, and then they'll get if they do that, they will come. So essentially,
they built it.
Yep.
In this game.
So yeah. All right, let's move on to Infinity War's trailer that we were just talking about, nostalgia, and that came out this week. A lot of people didn't like it, actually. Huh?
So, I was gonna say it's hard to miss it. It's like everywhere.
Yeah. If you show something to everyone, there will be people who don't like it, and they make sure this was everywhere.
Hipsters.
I liked it. I thought it was great.
What do they say that they don't like it?
Well, here's the thing. Thanos does look kind of dumb.
Yes. Yeah.
What?
Thanos looks stupid.
Oh. I have to say, I don't know why people are worried about CG characters. The Hulks look great in almost every single MCU movie, and he's a completely CGI character.
That's true.
And the Hulkbuster looked great. Iron Man suits look great. They're all CGI.
I would say the suits always look good because they're like metallic. I think Hulk sometimes looks like a big action figure, to be honest.
It's because we just had step and shit in Justice League.
I know, and I feel like you would get something similar, really.
And the thing I think
Thanos doesn't look all that much better when you see him in this trailer.
He looks a lot better. He looks way better than
I watched
Steppenwolf.
it. No, Mike. I pulled up a screenshot of Steppenwolf, and I was like, yeah, he does look better at least. I mean, that's.
There's no doubt. You cannot say that Steppenwolf and Thanos are on the same page, or even same universe.
Not even in the same ballpark.
It's really just Thanos' design. Like, I thought he was a gorilla the first time I saw drawings of him. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't understand why he's just some dude with this big.
I think it's just he doesn't have his crown.
And it throws him off. He looks too much like a normal guy who's just kind of deformed now without his headgear.
Well,
so I think some people got into that, and they had the memes where he's some dude working at Home Depot or something.
Yeah, I saw one with Homer, where he's colored to be Homer.
Or with the California grape thing. What was that?
California raisins.
Yeah. California raisins.
Raisinets.
Yeah,
He
looks like a raisin
on
steroids.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so I don't know. I like the trailer though. It's a teaser. I mean, it was 2 minutes long, so.
It's not a teaser.
No, it's not.
But
it's a full trailer, but it's listed as a teaser.
I know.
So
the Deadpool ones are teasers. Those have been teasers, but this is definitely a trailer in my opinion.
Yeah, I can't wait for May. It's gonna May 4th. May the 4th, huh? May the 4th.
Mm-hmm. When does Solo come out? June?
No, I think it's in May. 29th?
Is it May too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was in May as well, but I was like, wait.
They're strategically releasing that on a holiday. I think it's going for Memorial Day weekend?
Easter?
Beginning of the month and the end of the month?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so it's going to be more interesting for Marvel shortly, possibly.
Are we to talk about the trailer, or are we just gonna?
Oh, I thought we did.
Well, do we? Well, no, we didn't.
We just talked about the trailer.
Yeah. No, we talked about what we thought of it. I thought, but go on. What do you guys think?
No, I'm just saying. Do we want to talk about anything specifically, or?
I don't care. I mean, we don't usually break down trailers that well. I mean, it's just the trailer. But what did you like about it?
Well, I'd like that we actually saw him getting some Infinity Stones.
Yeah,
because I know that's been.
Yeah.
I know that's been hotly debated everywhere online, where it's when's he finally going to get some? It's well, he just fucking got 2. It looks like he's getting a 3rd.
Well, I think that's misleading. I think that's misleading, but we'll see. We'll see.
No, I agree. It could be misleading, but I'm pretty sure Vision bites the dust in this one.
The thing is, I think that Vision could survive, and that's what you could have him survive without the stone.
Yeah.
At this point, but I definitely think Thanos is getting that stone. He's getting all of them. There's no way he's not getting all. You got to complete the gauntlet, man. Why would you have movie 2 if you didn't have the completed gauntlet?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I think Feige has said that they're not revealing the name of Avengers, for whatever you want to call it, the one after Infinity War, because it would give away, plot details and whatnot.
They already gave it away by saying this is
right.
A 2-part. Well, now it's gonna be one. Oh, well, we're gonna do this, but
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be called Secret Wars. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I hope they don't do Secret Wars. I thought that was a terrible story, and I really hope they don't do Secret Wars.
No, but here's the thing, man. Like,
here's
the thing.
I like the coming together with the heroes in the. I like the Secret Wars. I like that whole concept.
I think they could do it just because here's the thing. I don't really like the Civil War in the comics. Like, it started off fine, but it ended kind of, whatever.
Yeah, just petered.
And the thing is, like, I know, like, with the Planet Hulk, you didn't really get what you personally wanted.
Right.
But the thing is,
Fair
I think
enough.
we just gotta.
We may not get anything close to what Secret Wars was in the comic, which would be a good thing, in my opinion.
Right, exactly. So, they can take some inspiration, obviously, and, do something that works for the medium. Because especially when you get into, like, Secret Wars stuff, like, if you followed it exactly to the T,
and
I think
depends on what Secret Wars you're talking about, too.
Right, so, right.
Because
there's a couple different ones, right?
Right, because the one I'm thinking about is the one that really doesn't matter, and that, like, why even do that one? It wouldn't make any sense.
Right. Another interesting plot detail that people were pointing out. So it looks, part of it looks like we're in Wakanda, and at some point the Hulkbuster armor shows up. But if you notice that in the rest of the trailer, Tony Stark doesn't seem to be anywhere near Wakanda. So people are speculating that he's not in the Hulkbuster.
Yeah, I got that. I was reading that online, that theory. So
I mean, he's not been in Iron Man suits before, and it's.
Right. So
I mean, they're saying Bruce Banner could be in it, but that's just dumb. Yeah. Like, if Bruce Banner's in it, that's just the stupidest thing. Like, why not just Hulk out, man?
Here's the thing, but I think it's kind of poetic if they did that, actually. Like,
sure,
let's think about
it. I can understand the idea of it, and like he could bust out of the Hulkbuster, which would be pretty funny. But
right.
But at the same time, like, you can remotely control that thing. Just put it on autopilot.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah, maybe. But, so the thing is, the last time we see Hulk and Thor, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Ragnarok, sorry, skip ahead like a minute or two. The last we see him at the end of the movie, they're both on the ship heading back towards Earth, and when Thanos' ship shows up. So we see Bruce Banner on the ground, or Hulk on the ground in Wakanda.
Oh, he absolutely fell from the atmosphere.
But asking Guardians who the hell they are.
Yeah.
Tony, you just froze there. We missed what you were saying about after the but. But what?
But we see Thor with the Guardians, so it's like he's not anywhere near where
they get separated without a doubt.
Right. So they get separated. So.
And I don't know, like the Comic-Con footage from San Diego, like opens with Thor hitting the Guardians Milano ship. Like they run into him in space. So he's obviously floating in space.
Yep.
And they run into him. And
it looks like
I'm assuming Hulk gets like blasted down into Earth.
It looks like all those Asgardians bit the dust too. Because that scene with Loki and the Tesseract, it shows all these dead people around. It's like Asgard is a people, not a place. It's like, well, now they're not anything.
Now
they're that sucks.
now they're Thor and Loki.
Now they're dust under boots.
Yeah.
So it's a good trailer. It's a good teaser. So.
I think at the end scene though, where they're all running, I bet you there are people in that are not there, that they digitally erased. I think so. Because where's Ant-Man? Where's Wasp? They're both in this movie.
Well, so that's something else interesting. Because if you look at the plot line or the timeline for the movies, so I think the next movie after Infinity War is Ant-Man and the Wasp. Mm-hmm. And then I think Captain Marvel.
And it's apparently Ant-Man and the Wasp is a romantic comedy.
Right. It's going to be interesting genre. But, we have Captain Marvel, and we know that she's currently not in, present day.
I really think she shows up in this movie. Like, I really do.
No. See, here's the thing. I think, I'm going to get crazy here, but...
Let's do it. Get some theories out there.
I'm expecting Ant-Man to go on his own quest instead of joining like the rest of the Avengers. Whatever faction, Tony or Steve, whichever faction you want to call it. I think he's on his own separate adventure to rescue Captain Marvel in some capacity, or do something to get Captain Marvel back because she's displaced or in a different multiverse. You're right, exactly, something. Because if you look at it, it's like why do we have Captain Marvel next? And we know it takes place in the 90s, so. What's going on there?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe some origin story for her. Yeah, right afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't know. That's why I think she's in the movie. But they did it with Black Panther. They premiered him, and then they bring out his story. So
yeah. Oh well, that's the other thing with Black Panther because we know the location of all the time stones or the Infinity Stones, except for I think the the Soul one,
the orange one.
But
yep.
Right, but it shows Thanos' army invading Wakanda, and you're like, well, why would they be doing that? Obviously they're invading New York to get the one that Doctor Strange has. He is the time one.
Yeah, he's got time. Yeah,
he's got time. So a lot of people now were speculating that Wakanda has the Soul Stone.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's why Thanos' army shows up. And it kind of would be cool if that was the secret behind the Black Panther legacy. So I don't know if you guys know much about the Black Panther's powers, but
he can talk to his fathers.
Right, his ancestors. And all their, I don't know.
It's
I think
the Simba thing. It's the Lion King,
right,
man. He sees his dad in the clouds.
Yep. Yeah,
he has a soul dream or whatever.
Yeah.
That's I heard they were saying he talks to his parents and or his the past Black Panthers, and he uses the soul stone to do that.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense. And the other thing I heard was that when you see him punch Stark or Iron Man,
ooh,
and knock
that
him down,
punch looks so that looked heavy.
They're saying the time stone is in his thumb and you can't see it, but you can see green reflections coming off of him.
Oh,
and
really?
So they're speculating that he's got the time stone already.
Oh, man.
So
see. And I know we just talked about Justice League.
Obviously, I think the opening of this movie. Sorry, just to interrupt. The opening of this movie is him totally just fucking up the planet the Guardians dropped off the Purple Stone at. What was that planet called?
Xandar.
Xandar. Yeah, I think the opening movie is that game.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. That's definitely how this movie is starting off. He's just gonna fuck up Xandar, and that's gonna be the intro to the movie, and then
he's gonna walk in and just take that Purple Stone bloop,
bloop, and just fuck shit up. But I know we were just talking about Justice League and how and last year in Civil War where it seems like the heroes are play fighting and how often are really they endangered and stuff like that. But when Thanos is hitting Iron Man and the other sequence where he seems like he's choke slamming Spider-Man, that seems pretty. I don't know. Obviously we're getting a new Spider-Man, so it's not like Spider-Man dies in this one. But
there's a lot of heroes that could be on the chopping block, though. So there is going to be some drama in this movie to who's going to take it, who's going to bite it.
Yeah,
that's to me though. If in the comic book version of this, everyone is dead and it doesn't matter in the end, which is why I don't like the source material for this at all, which is what worries me.
Well, just by going by what we've seen so far, the comics really mean nothing.
That's true.
But completely different versions of every story.
100% undone deaths in the comics, and I'm just I wonder if we'll get some of that in this.
Well, that's what I don't like about Secret Wars. Is who cares? Everybody's gonna die. Everybody's gonna live again.
Yeah. I don't know. Doesn't the Watchers have something to do with the Secret Wars?
Depends on what Secret Wars. I think.
Yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about. I know Secret War, but that's different. I guess that's Latveria and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Secret War with Doctor Doom.
That
God.
But for me, the biggest thing in this trailer is the Spider-Man stuff. We get Spider-Sense. I hope they explain why it's there now. And
How are they developing? He's still young, man. Still growing into him.
I
Easy
guess.
explanation.
And
he had him in Civil War, so
I like his what?
He had the Spider Sense in Civil War.
Did he?
Mm-hmm. When he went after Bucky and Falcon, there's the scene where Bucky chucks his thing at him from behind, and he looks up and says "Whoa" before he does a backflip. I mean, it doesn't outright say it's Spider Sense, but what's the explanation for that? I just think they didn't talk enough between
that and Homecoming.
Right, because we talked about how Spider-Man was kind of rushed for Civil War because it was literally they started filming and they're like, hey, we can do Spider-Man. It's oh shit, put him in, and then maybe afterwards maybe we shouldn't have the Spider Sense right off the bat, but I don't know. I do like that we're getting it finally because that's one of the cooler things that Spider-Man does,
And I like the color scheme of his Iron Spider things. I do because I never liked the yellow
and gold,
those Iron Man colors basically. So now they're giving me an acceptable Iron Spider costume here.
No, I agree with that. I like the look of this suit. I think it's pretty awesome.
The other thing that's always interesting was Thanos is he's just holding the raw stones in his hands, this in his two fingers. Meanwhile, the Guardians have to all
hold together.
He's just holding them, whatever. This is the raw stones, just gonna plop it right in.
That was the explanation for the lack of armor. Apparently, they said that he is gathering the stones, so he doesn't need armor. So
what? What is Thanos?
He's like a war god essentially, isn't he? Like he's just like a warmonger kind of thing. He just likes to have a fight.
Yeah, I hope we get some explanation.
We don't really know much about his actual.
One potential interesting thing, and again, this is just like string theory kind of bullshit where people are like really reaching. But the thing is, if enough people like share their ideas, like one of them is bound to be correct. That's just how the internet works. Yep. But I saw this one crazy theory that said apparently in one of the different universes, I want to say it's the Ultimate Universe. Apparently Thanos is half Kree or something like that. And that could tie in with Captain Marvel because we know for a fact in the 90s she was fighting the Kree. So that could be like maybe she was fighting him before and he won and got rid of her for a while or something, and then now she comes back and with a vengeance and with teammates and all that stuff. But
I wonder how they're gonna do to talk about Kree and that because the Kree are in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, that's true. All right, let's move on. Guys. News-wise, we got the
hold on. I want to tie two things together. The other interesting thing that you could see if they do like the multiverse stuff with Avengers 4, Secret Wars, they could bring in a brand new cast of characters that have been desired by many people around the world for 10 years.
It's Fantastic Four, isn't it?
Try again.
Fantastic Four. Just fantastic.
You know what I would love to see though? What would be amazing? Chris Evans shows up as Johnny Storm.
Right?
That would be weird. Yeah, that would be weird. This we talked about this Disney purchase of Fox a couple of podcasts ago, and now it's back on, and it's back on strong. The reported deal is supposed
maybe next podcast, like.
Yeah. It might even before our next podcast, we may be saying this is deal's final, but the money is out there. It's over $60 billion to purchase the Fox property. Disney is the only one left that entices Fox for it. So it's going to be all
the ones that they know they can get that money from.
Yeah. And it's their properties, all of the movie stuff, the whole movie division, Hulu. I mean, it's everything except for their news division and sports.
Right.
I like the deal. It's a scary deal because it's a monopoly in my mind. It really is. It could be. I mean, you can see it as monopoly, but I want the properties to come back. But
it's not a monopoly.
I mean, there's only 6 big studios left. Now there's 5.
It's nowhere near monopoly though.
Yeah, that's a big chunk. It's
a very large chunk, and it's
a monopoly for a lot of the things we talk about.
Yeah, but I mean. Again, my nerd, meters like off the charts because I want to see, the X-Men. I want to be able to see like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. say mutant. That would be kind of cool. I would like to see, huh?
Well,
that won't happen.
A little late for them.
If they're around by then. I mean, their show.
That's what I mean. I don't know if see about that.
But
I mean,
secretly premiered.
Could just die. He is getting old.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I would like to also know if Hugh Jackman is interested in coming back as Wolverine now.
I'm pretty sure he said that the only reason he would ever don Wolverine again is if he could be in Avengers.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder if he was just saying that though, thinking this would never happen.
Okay, so if this gets announced next week,
Avengers.
How quickly is like the end credit scene get changed so this Wolverine's claws just shooting out? Like you just see somebody walking up and then just like his claws just ching, and it's just like goes
do you think they could get that into 3? I mean. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just if it was just CGI, yeah absolutely.
Yeah.
They could do
just
that.
all they need is a silhouette or something, and just to hear the shrink or to see the claws, and that's it. You don't need anything else.
No, I think I even think if they get him, even like in the movie, like if they actually have Hugh Jackman show up, it would break a lot of things internet wise. It would just break the internet. It would. Hugh Jackman showing up as Wolverine in an Avengers movie would be crazy because we thought it would never be possible. Well. Getting closer.
I don't think you could put Hugh Jackman in just because. No, he doesn't want to do it. So
I think he does.
That's the only way. He said it multiple.
It's the only way he does.
Different interviews.
I think he does.
The whole reason, and here's the thing. I know a lot of people are like, oh well, Fox is just getting back on track with Deadpool and Logan and rated R movies, and Disney's not going to do that. But it's like, all right, hold on, take a step back. The only reason we even got Logan is because Hugh Jackman was tired of being in those fucking shitty Wolverine movies and was like, I'm done. I'm just fucking done. And to keep him around, they're like, all right, we'll fucking do you a good movie. And they got Logan. Mm-hmm. And then with Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds had to fucking leak that shit out on the internet to drum up excitement where enough people were clamoring on the internet. It was like, ah, shit, I guess we got to do something about this.
Yeah.
So you know what? Yeah, Fox made those movies eventually, but I mean, how many decades of bullshit do we have to put up with before we fucking finally got that shit? So whatever. Yeah. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I mean the greater aspect of it is, like you said, they have a Phase 4 slate that they haven't really revealed, and I think a lot of it's been holding, knowing that this deal is in the pipeline. I think it really is.
Well, I mean, there's some other indications in comic-wise that Marvel is planning to push this deal
again. We've been theorizing it. Tony, I know you said we talked about today. We've been theorizing this for a long time. We've talked about it. And like all of the signs have slowly pointed to this happening. We talked about the movie last year with Guardians. I mean, look with Guardians, right? It was Guardians.
Well, I remember we were talking about them just giving the rights back, and then someone mentioned this. I'm like, you know what? They could just buy Fox.
Yeah.
And then like, wait a minute. That's kind of possible.
My initial thought was not getting Fox, but getting like their properties back. That was my. I mean, I was never talking about them buying Fox.
It's the Bruce Wayne line at the end. Like, oh, how did you get our house back? The bank had it. I bought the bank.
Yeah. That's how you get your properties back. I mean,
but really the thing is, the signs were there, just kind of like they were Spider-Man. Like once we saw, how Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 did, it's like, all right, well, I mean, the deal's not very lucrative for them. Usually, you supplement that with toy sales and merchandise sales in general, and they don't have the rights to that. So, the movie does shitty, and I'm not saying shitty as in like lose money, but I'm saying shitty as in it doesn't warrant the effort that they put into it to get whatever little money they got off of it. It's not lucrative for them. So they're like, all right, well, you know what? Let's do this. And then with Fox, even though they were saying no, there was enough behind the door dealings that it's like, okay, there's a little smoke here. I mean, the TV shows was the first big indicator.
Oh, froze.
Yeah, Tony, you're turning into Mike right now.
Yeah,
there we go.
The Watchers being in Guardians of the Galaxy was a big thing. But
Ego was
right. That was the biggest thing. Ego. They couldn't use Ego without Fox's permission. They had to get the deals.
I like. You gotta wonder, like, did Marvel know when they said, "Yeah, we'll make this deal for Ego. Like, you guys can use make the Gifted show on your channel network," and they're like, "We're gonna get." Yeah, it's like it's not gonna matter in a year. So they have their own X-Men TV show already on TV. Yeah.
Go ahead. Go play with your little friends. Go ahead.
What was the other one that did pretty well too? Like
Legion.
Yeah.
So they have
That's
that.
the one
too.
I'm interested in actually.
So I mean, it's and they get the Simpsons too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They get all of Fox's television stuff, which is actually much more, I would think, lucrative for them, especially launching their own streaming service. If you could just launch with Futurama and Simpsons and
if this happens,
those Fox shows.
Maybe I should say when this happens. It will now be possible. I know this isn't the Gamecast, but we could play a game, a Kingdom Hearts game, where we see Mickey Mouse, Sephiroth, and Homer Simpson on the same screen.
Yeah.
And it's totally not a joke.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, man. I mean, you can speculate this for ends upon ends. But...
And the thing that I think of, which is, again, like, is this too late? I think of New Avengers, that lineup, the Spider-Man, Wolverine, Iron Man, and Captain America. But I don't know if we'll ever get that still because of how the contracts are going. But
now they can do X-Men vs. Avengers. They can do that.
That's not. I don't care about that story.
I'm just saying they're taking big comic book events. They can do them all.
I just
Spider-Man and the X-Men. Could they do that? I don't know if they could do that.
Dude, I want to see Tom Holland's Spider-Man interacting with like either Hugh Jackman's Wolverine or a new Wolverine.
No. I want to see Tom Holland's Spider-Man interacting with Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool.
Oh my God!
In a couple of years, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I don't need Deadpool.
I'm just saying that Deadpool is the anti-Spider-Man, and they make jokes constantly about them getting confused with each other.
The funny thing is again, when this happens, Deadpool would be so much. Deadpool 3, we'll say 3, could be so much funnier because he could be the only character that knows about breaking the fourth wall and be like, what the fuck? Like, Disney owns me now? Like, just, like, going off about that shit, like...
Or it could be like, right. Well, finally more X-Men in the mansion because Disney owns us.
Yeah, exactly. That
would be kind of cool. Like, if I would love to see some quick changes to his movie coming out with something like that. Yeah. But as long as there's no, like...
Right, and then just think about the, like, where he, like, looks at Cable and is like, Thanos, eh? I mean, Cable, hey, what's up? And just, like, do a little joke there. I mean, just so many possibilities.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's get into what I've been up to. We've had, well, I've had a bunch of things I've been up to. I don't know, you guys, anything?
Oh my! I have a lot this week.
Oh, nice. Well, you want to kick it off then? Go ahead. You kick it off.
All right. Well, I watched the crossover Crisis on Earth X.
I didn't get to this
I
yet.
actually heard that was fun.
And I only watched it because I was like, who cares about anything else? Let's see how this compares to Justice League.
Okay.
And they do a great job of the Marvel aspect of it by saying, hey, we have all these individual shows and we'll bring them together for this big crossover, big event thing. And it works really well. And it's actually, it doesn't matter if you've seen the shows or not because they don't matter at all.
It's the story for this, right?
Yeah, well,
That's
I mean,
you
see characters, you're like, who the fuck are these guys? Oh, it doesn't matter because it's just fun to see these characters together and then they go off their separate ways and whatever. It doesn't matter because you're not watching the shows anyway.
Yeah.
So it actually was a very good 4-part series of the 4 shows. And I think it was really well done. They had some Easter eggs in there for fans of the comics. And I think that they applied all of the material that they had to work with very well. And I think I'd actually recommend it if you're a decent comic book, or somewhat comic book fan, or somewhat fan of the shows. I think it's actually worth watching.
I'll check it out
for sure.
Yeah, cool.
So I watched that. I finished Punisher.
Oh wow!
I'd say that's probably my favorite Marvel Netflix show.
What? What? Really? Wow, those are strong words.
Tim really liked it. Tim really liked it. I didn't get to watch it.
I know, Mike, you weren't as into it, but for me, I was like, this is awesome and everything that I was hoping it would be, and I think it's better than Daredevil, personally.
Wow.
I think it's better than Daredevil. Just the first episode is very different than the rest of the show, which is weird because I completely thought it was going to go in a different direction. I'm like, all right, it's going to kind of take that whole like Jessica Jones broken character direction, but then it takes that and like applies it to a guy that's just like doesn't care about morals really. Well, not morals. He cares, like he has moral standards and like he's not killing people willy-nilly, but he's not worried about hurting people. Let's just say. And, there you go. Maybe that's why I like this so much. It's just like Ben Affleck Batman.
Yep.
Yeah, he's just taking care of business. Like it's just you hate when characters like heroes, especially like just like leave people around because whatever, like I'm a hero, I can't hurt people or kill people or whatever, and then it comes back to bite him in the ass. Like, if you just killed this guy, you wouldn't have to deal with this shit.
Yep.
And that's his whole whole mindset in this show. Is like he even says at one point, it's like, just so we're clear, everyone dies. And he's like, it's like if you have to be okay with this because this is the only way I'm going to do it is everyone dies.
Yeah, that's
so it's pretty awesome. I knew the villain from the comic, and he does not look like the villain at all in the comic, but it's cool because it kind of leads up and it's kind of an origin story for him too, which was really neat. And you're like, oh wow, this is pretty cool. And you could see it, working well in the future if they decide to do that. But depends on how it all ends. Like who knows how they want to do it. But it's really well done, I thought. And I thought the villain was the best villain on screen. I mean, again, I wasn't a big fan of Kingpin, but I think he was better than Kingpin, so that made it a little easier for me to say this is my best, my favorite of the Netflix shows.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I highly recommend it. Then I also watched. There's another thing that I watched. Punisher. I started watching Black Sails, which is a pirate show.
Yeah.
The Michael Bay one?
No.
Yeah, the Michael Bay one.
Michael Bay, that one? Really? He does
well,
that?
he produced it.
Oh, wow.
It's his show. But Brian Fuller also, I think, is part of it too, which is the Hannibal guy. And for as a pirate show, like they did a fantastic job of making you like feel the nitty gritty of pirating and like what it actually means to be a pirate, and not just the fantastical like Pirates of the Caribbean stuff. This is like
real.
This is real piratey shit, and there's some comedy here and there, but they don't. The one thing they're like saying there's no peg legs and no parrots because that's not what pirates are. The pirates, like, it's a tough life, and you can see that. And I think the ship-to-ship battles and the boarding and the pirating aspect of that was very well done, and I highly recommend that if you're interested in pirates, because It is, that theme. So good stuff there. And then the last thing is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Watch the premiere. Two episodes.
Yeah, double.
Oh, it's two episodes.
Episode,
I didn't know that. Shit. I haven't seen it.
That was fantastic. It's some of the best sci-fi on TV right now.
Wow. That's I heard they really.
And we know,
inspired
spoiler, I don't know if you guys, it takes place in space, right?
Yeah.
So we know this. And
inspired from Guardians. I heard it was Guardians, like inspired.
I didn't think Guardians at all.
That's what I was reading about.
The thing that I was thinking was Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, cool. Huh.
Really? Wait. Good Battlestar Galactica or bad
That's
Battlestar Galactica?
No, good. I'm saying.
Okay, all right, just making sure. I'm just making sure.
Tony, you didn't even get to see the bad Battlestar Galactica.
I know. And that's how I like to have my memories of that
memory
series.
of Battlestar Galactica.
Right. I'm so scared to ever watch that last season. I don't know if I ever will.
Yeah.
I'd rather have it be I just have my own
very strong.
What happened. Yeah.
Say the opening, this 2-part opening was very strong. So definitely recommend that as well. So a lot of stuff on my plate here.
Cool.
But you guys didn't get to see any of the Punisher or
I'm 3 episodes in. Like I said, I didn't like the first episode. I thought it was very slow, and after watching it, I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch this at all. But I watched the next.
What's weird is nothing from the first episode, not that nothing matters, but it's almost like they just did this episode as this one-off. And then, the rest of the show starts in episode 2, which is weird.
If they showed that at Comic-Con, that would have been pretty weird, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know, the plot does get going in episode 2 and 3, as far as I can tell, at least. I still stopped after 3. 2 to 3, I was hooked enough to watch them both at once, but then I stopped again after 3, and then got caught up with other stuff. But I'll be curious to see what I think of it. I don't see how there's any chance that I'll like it more than Daredevil at this point, but we'll see. It's definitely more of a, I may have said this before, there's more spy intrigue type stuff going on here. The supporting characters, though, they want me to, I feel like they want me to care about them so much, and I just don't yet. We'll see if that changes. Which
characters?
Supporting characters.
Oh, supporting.
Yes.
There's probably 3 characters that I really think are really, really good, and then
there's a pair of characters that are elsewhere in the beginning, I'll say, and I'm like, why do I care about these people? I know they're gonna get involved later, but I really don't care what happens to either of them at all at this point. But we'll see.
Okay.
That's really it. I haven't really watched much of anything else.
I'm just thinking about it. Thinking about it, I got a little bit that little throw up bit. I paid up on one of my lost bets. I watched the rest of Death Note. I had watched originally the first 20 minutes and turned it off. I just was done with it. I was like, I'm never watching this ever again. And then Tony was like, no, Jim, you're going to finish Death Note. And I was like, oh, shit. So I took a little free time at work, and I watched it because I'm like, well, I'm going to try to get this done because I have a little bit of free time. It was another hour and 20 minutes left of the movie. It was, God, I mean...
you never watched the anime, though, right?
I watched half of the anime, so I never saw how that finished. But I will tell you this movie seems such a jarbled mess. Like the way that the L just got drew conclusions as to why this Light was who he is. I'm like, why? What? How did you get this from this? Like the setup was just so we gotta move because we only have an hour and 40 minutes to do this movie. So that was hurting the movie off the bat, just the crunch of time, trying to consolidate down this story into an hour and 40 minutes. And then we probably get to the worst part of this movie, which is the acting. It's got to be some of the worst I've ever seen. This is out of all the bets that I've watched, it's the worst movie I've ever seen. And I've seen Catwoman. Don't forget. This is the worst movie I've ever seen. It was.
Wait, who made you watch Catwoman?
I did.
Corey, okay. Nice. I wasn't sure if it was Mike or you. But Catwoman was really bad. It was really, really bad. But at least you had Halle Berry to look at. You know what I mean? This just is bad. And I'm like, well, the whole time I'm like, well, at least I got William Dafoe to carry me through this. and his part is so small and horrible. Like, all he basically does is laugh maniacally. He says nothing. He says like 2 lines basically in this movie, and it's just horrible. Like, the animation's not terrible. I guess there's a positive, but I'm like, it's just, God, I just hated the whole thing. I
think they would have served better if they just made that a series.
I hated the whole thing. Like, there's just nothing good I can tell you about this movie, and I will say never watch this movie. Even if you're not a fan of the anime. Like, let's say you've never seen it and you keep getting recommended on Netflix. Call up Netflix and tell them to stop.
Did you at least downvote on it? Like,
I did. Yeah. I mean, it's goddamn horrible. It's so bad. It's so bad. God. Ugh. So, Tony, do you have another movie for me to watch yet? I owe you 2 more.
One of those I'm definitely saving because I need Mike to actually take a bet.
Get me one. Get me one. You don't have to do it now, but get me one. I want to get another one out of the way.
All right. Emoji Movie.
Hey, you can watch it with
I'll get Ari.
Aria.
I did a family-friendly movie.
Family-friendly movie. Okay.
I'm sorry, I forgot her name. I was like, what is it? I kept wanting to say Caro, and I was like, that's Supergirl. Never mind.
Yeah, so I watched that. So then quickly, it's one of those palate cleanser things. I watched. I ended up watching Star Trek Discovery. I finally started watching that show from the CBS All Access.
Did you signed up then?
No, they gave me a free 30 days instead of a free week.
Okay.
So I got 30 days to watch this first half of the show, which is great. I know I'm going to cancel shortly after, but this show is excellent. I really enjoy this. I think it's fantastic, actually. I really, really like this show. Like, Star Trek Discovery, I'm really enjoying quite a bit. Like, the Klingon change was weird for me because I'm a Star Trek fan, so it's weird to see them in this new design, but I'm like, I get why they did it. It kind of works better this way. It makes sense. I like this characters. I would say that the main character, what's her name from Walking Dead? Yeah, she's not great, but she's not terrible either. I'm not gonna say she's terrible. So
Brian Fuller again, man. That guy is on point with his television.
It's a great show. Great story so far. Like, I'm really interested to see where they go with it. I'm only 4 episodes in, so
I heard a lot of people, Star Trek enthusiasts, don't like it because it's not.
The first episode's not Star Trek. The first 2, because there was like a one.
But it's more in tune to what the new Star Trek is.
Yeah, but then the next episode after that is a very Star Trek episode.
I mean, it's called Discovery. I mean, come on.
So
check somewhere. Go out there.
But the first episode is like watching the new movies. It's an action-packed thing. It's like not very Star Trek is very diplomacy. There is space combat, but there's a lot of talking and figuring things out. Like, it's about solving the problem first before you shoot things. And the first episodes they mixed it in there, but it was mostly about just shooting things. So, but I enjoyed it still. I thought it was good because I did like the new stuff. As a Star Trek fan. So I like that. And then I got to see Murder on the Orient Express, which didn't do well in the theaters, but it was packed when I went. It was sold out. The theater was full. And that was at Bridgewater for the dine-in thing, because that's a perfect movie to go for that. So nice. It was a fun movie featuring William Dafoe. So in 2 days, I watched 2 different style of movies from William Dafoe, who did a great job in this movie, acting and playing a character. His character was great. His character was great because he did like multiple characters with his character, so it was really good. It's a mystery, solve whodunit. I don't know the original story, so it was really cool to watch this story. My mom knows it. She's a big fan of this Poirot detective. Yeah. He's like the French
My
Sherlock
mom
Holmes.
is too.
Yeah, the French Sherlock Holmes. And it's got a lot of humor mixed into it, and there's like a murder, so it's like a very serious aspect of it as well. But Johnny
gave
Depp's
it away.
In it. Yeah, Johnny Depp's in it. Michelle Pfeiffer,
Rey from Star Wars.
Star Wars. When she showed up, like, I forgot she was in this movie.
Yep.
There's a whole bunch of the cast is huge, and it's got a lot of big names in it actually. So every time I'm like, wait, they're in this? Holy crap! So yeah, it was really good. I would recommend seeing it. You don't have to go see it in the theaters, but when it comes out, definitely check it out. It's fun. If you haven't seen the original, it's really cool to try to solve the mystery, go along with it. So that's fun too. And it takes place on the train, obviously, and it's good. So I recommend that.
So, Girl on the Train, Murder on the Orient Express, and now what's that? Commuter.
Which
is the best? train
I liked
movie.
Commuter. I didn't mind Commuter, but I like this one. I like this one.
You know, it's really good. Source Code's actually a pretty good train movie.
Is that the one I'm thinking of? Maybe I saw
With Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, that's the one I saw. Never mind. I did see that one. I like that one.
Strangers on a Train.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So that's it for me though. Tony.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Games.
I still got a bunch to watch. Catching up. I'm gonna watch Shield tonight. So I'll get.
Yeah, definitely. It's so good. That show has been the best comic book show.
I'm running into the same problem now where I've got Punisher to watch because I've been going away. I've been traveling, so it's like I've got Punisher to watch. I've got that. I'm overwhelmed.
Well, if you can get to Punisher, like I'm sure you can get to that before I got to Luke Cage. I mean,
yeah.
I would hope so.
So
because this is like legitimately, like I said, it's my favorite one.
Cool.
And I want to talk about it with you guys because I'm curious to see what y'all think, especially since Mike wasn't very enthusiastic about it initially.
I will see. I'll try to see some more of it soon.
I just think John Berthmal as Punisher is like
loves that character.
Amazing.
He's like so into it.
The only thing that's a little bit distracting is his haircut in later episodes. It just got this Friar Tuck thing going. I just don't understand it. Like, just cut that off, like, or spike it up or something. So weird.
Yeah.
But anyway.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up the Moviecast, everybody. Thanks for tuning in and listening. Write us podcast at allyoucangeek.net. Follow us on Twitter, allyoucangeek, and like us on Facebook. So tune in next week and tune into the Gamecast.